Morning, good to see you. As soon as we're up, I'll come back down and say hi in 1 second.
Hi. Good morning.
Just checking it out.
How are you? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So there's people there?
Yes, we have people there. Let's see if I can show you.
Ooh, people.
See?
Oh, that's cool. It's so much fun. Great. You know if everybody's there already who signed up?
Right, people are here. We're going to have 2 Torah readers this morning. I just have to figure it out how people on Zoom can see people in the sanctuary, right? I don't think we can figure that out.
Yeah, it was a little unclear to me how we're supposed to seat people. I know we're supposed to seat them by household, but
Well,
don't know.
you're not going to be able to see people who are sitting in the sanctuary, unfortunately.
Hi, Marlene.
Good morning, Boker Tov.
Boker Tov.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I had to interrupt Torah study because I got a FaceTime from my 4-year-old great nephew and my sister, and I had to seize the rare opportunity.
Oh yeah, you don't pass those up. Well, speaking of which, my daughter sent a picture this morning. We've got twin grandsons who are going to turn 6 next week.
Wow.
And one just lost his first tooth.
Oh, does he believe in the tooth fairy? Hi,
So I
Cantor.
just want to show
yeah.
you people who are sitting in the audience.
Let's see.
Congregation.
Isn't this
Wow.
cool? It's so
You
great.
can put in a speaker view so you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's wonderful.
Okay,
Are we
so
calling we're calling it an audience now?
we have 2 Torah readers. So that, and we have a sound technician. So we all set.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I
Beautiful.
thought the technology worked pretty well last night once we got rid of that muffled thing.
I told the rabbi I thought she was extremely calm during those 14 minutes, but I thought that the mask and the long view helped.
That's right.
And that she seemed to have calm eyebrows.
Calm eyebrows. Yeah, that's going to become, eyebrows are going to become very important accessories.
I know, I'm going to have to get some new ones.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, mine aren't my best feature. See, Cantor's got beautiful eyebrows. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks nice.
Woo! Look at it. Hey, now we know how to get her to take her mask off. Just compliment her eyebrows.
That's right. Oh, Cantor, I saw your boys last night running around behind you.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was so cute.
Oh.
You're on mute.
You're mute. We can't hear you, Cantor. You're muted.
You're muted.
So I'm saying that David is out of town from all the weekends. This is the weekend he had to go to visit his mom. So I have that's why they're here with me.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah.
For all the weekends in 14 months.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you have a babysitter volunteer.
Well, you wanna come and and babysit them here?
Well, I don't think I'm allowed. I would, but I'm not allowed in yet.
Yeah.
Well, they're outside. They're outside, right? Yeah.
Oh, I could handle that.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean,
next time.
I mean,
Next
thank
time.
goodness the weather was good, so they could be outside, but it's a really nice day. I'd rather be outside too.
I'm going to go down to say hello to people.
Okay.
Yes, do that. That's lovely.
Don't leave us this way. Oh well. I have to bring a little, Renee. I have to bring a little humor in here.
That's right. That's
try.
true.
I try.
Oh, but doesn't it look so
Look,
funny?
someone else took up the post. Who is that? Oh, there she goes. Oh
There
well.
she goes. The masked woman.
Yeah, we got a fleeting glimpse.
Ha. There she is.
Rabbi. Can she hear? Hi, Rabbi Till. No, not yet. Renee, that looks good. What are you eating? I just ate a rugula.
That was the end of a banana.
Oh, nice.
I wish it was a rugula. Now I'm gonna crave rugula.
I've been doing Malik runs lately.
I only do that when we need challah, which, because it's only two of us and we really can't eat that much carbs, we eat 2 pieces at a time. So then we make it into little packages and freeze it.
Oh, that's what I'm only one person and my cat won't eat challah. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's why when I see the people baking challah, I think, oh, I should bake challah. And then I think, yeah, that would be like probably 6 months worth of challah.
Well, you could make care packages for people like me.
Oh, that's an idea.
I like poppy seeds, though. I want you to know.
Oh, I don't like poppy seeds.
Dessert person. I'm very Claire Sappins is all about experimentation in the kitchen. Well, she's made a name for herself as one of the internet's favorite chefs. She's a true alchemist when it comes to baking. Do I have a shot if I follow these easy and simple recipes? You can definitely make brownies. Is a professionally trained chef. 3 9-inch cake pans, but finds pleasure in executing her recipes for the home baker. Serves a lot of people. I feel like it's important for me as a recipe developer to tell people, honestly, this is something that is hard. People devote their whole lives to it. And if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it. What fascinated you about this so early? I think I got into baking because I liked crafting. And I think when you're making a layer cake, it's sort of as much crafting as it is baking. The construction of it and the architecture and the stacking and the frosting. I think of icing as something that's like a thin, powdered sugar, but it always comes back big. Tastes real good.
No, I can't hear the rabbi.
Friends at home, you can't hear me? Okay, hold on 1 second. That's a good time to start singing, I guess. So do you want to maybe start the slide and sing and they can hear you, we can hear? Yeah, okay. Maybe first thing what we do, we'll start with Sheheyanu because you're the first crowd in the sanctuary, and so we sang yesterday Sheheyanu because Rabbi and I were here, but this morning you're here with us. So join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sheheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu l'zman hazeh. Amen. 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 So people at home, can you hear me? They cannot hear me.
We cannot hear. So this was the glitch that we had last night too, so we're going to ask just for a couple minutes while we sort that. You can hear, our friends at home can't hear. Yeah, what we're hearing from them is that they can't hear. It has served us well so far. It has
Perhaps we can continue with Matovo, or we should wait.
Let's just wait. Just if you give us just a minute, we'll wait just to make sure that that everyone at home can join us as well. That is the missing link, right? That's the piece. It looks kind of simple, but that's the piece that's the hardest layer for us to navigate, right? How people at home can hear, because we're not Zooming with them, how they can hear us and participate at home as well. So we want to make sure that everybody has full access. Yes, thank you. Thank you, actually, Marilyn. Thank you. We're going to ask you please to hum, but not to sing. This is the guidance that we've gotten from any number of places, medical personnel, the task force as well. So thank you, yes, Marilyn, for the reminder. We're going to invite you warmly and with your fullest humming selves. Actually, someone said in one of our meetings, they love humming because they get all the words right. So if you would please, just as we sing, hum and sing with your body and sing with your faces, and we can lift every part of ourselves in prayer like that. So we'll just wait one more moment. You'll let us know when you have sound, and
not the shaking your heads. This mic is off.
Yes, yeah. No, they're not supposed to be on. Yeah, our computer, that's the layering. Our computer mics can't be on and our Beamer mics have to be on.
Okay, can you hear now? Can you hear now? People at home, can you hear? Tiny bit. The showing very tiny.
I'm sure there's a page in the Talmud somewhere that details how you're supposed to do this, right? Yes, it's a minority opinion, I'm sure, right? Yeah.
Can you hear the rabbi?
Can you hear us now?
Tiny bit. Just tiny bit they can hear. Marlene and Renee.
Okay, still nothing, right?
A little bit.
So I could tell you about the week-long retreats that I did in silence. That might be helpful right now, right? Yes, can you hear us now? A little bit, just a little bit still they're saying. Okay.
If you could, people at home, if you could chat. Can you hear me? If you could chat and tell us you can hear us or how you can hear.
The chat is disabled.
They said the chat's disabled?
Yep,
But we can hear you now pretty well.
we can hear
Yeah,
you
I
back.
can hear you, Cantor, but not the rabbi.
Rabbi Till, say something. No.
Be enabled.
Yes, up. Good.
Let us know if you can hear us. Yes,
Can
you
you-
can hear us? Even? Okay.
Good.
I think we've got
Good.
sound, but maybe not loud, yes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, we have sound, but not loud.
Not bad.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me speaking? Okay, my volume is good. The rabbi is
Okay, they're
Yes,
suggesting
your
right now that you
volume
turn
is
up
good,
your
but not
computer
the
volume
rabbi's.
for the time being, and,
No, we can hear the rabbi now. It's okay.
yes, that's what I just, yeah. You would not turn up your devices, though. Actually, could you make sure yours are silenced? I probably should have led with that. Right, there are so many layers here, right? Your devices should be silenced. Your devices at home, turn them up a little bit. Cantor, your device, you're going to modulate on your own, right?
Yes.
So we'll use a combination. We'll dive in from our Sidurim, from our prayer books. Friends at home, you'll have the slides in front of you. So I will aspire to announce page numbers to all of you with the right timing, and the Cantor will continue with the slides. It's going to be kind of like, patting your head and rubbing your stomach for us. So we ask your forbearance as we move through. But oi, what a breath. What a breath. Let's take a breath moving from the technical spaces, from all that has been these last months, all that has been these last couple of months, as so many of us have made big transitions for any number of reasons. As we are vaccinated, as we are en route to being vaccinated, as we are convening, as we are reconvening, how good it is. how good it is to be together. Join us, please, on page 192 for the singing of Matov. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkelatecha Yisrael, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkelatecha Yisrael, Vani Beroch Avdecha, Avovitecha, Eshtavel Golgotchecha, Beiradecha, Matovu, Matovu, Olecha Yaakov, Mishkeratecha Yisrael, Adonai Ati, Mehon Beitecha, Umekom Mishkan Kevodecha, Mishkan Kevodecha, Vani Eshtahave, Vechra, Evrecha Livnei Adonai, Osi, Matovu, Matovu, Olecha Yaakov, Mishkeratecha Yisrael, Vani Tefilati Lecha, Adonai et Ratzon, Elohim Beroch Chesdecha, Elohim Beroch Chesdecha, Haneni Be'emet Ishecha, Matovu, Matovu, Olecha Yaakov, Mishkeratecha Yisrael, Mishkeratecha Yisrael. And we continue together on page 194. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofechel basar umaflila asot. We praise you, Holy One, for wondrous acts of creation and healing. Page 196 for friends in the sanctuary for Elohai Neshama. And we'll invite you, please, to join us as we give thanks for our spirits, our souls, that our breath, that we know we are created in purity, with purity. It is created and formed in us. It is breathed into us, and we know it is protected. Join us, please, in humming, and at home, please join us in the singing of Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Atane Let us continue giving thanks, giving praise with Psalm 150 that can be found on page 218. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Actually, we invite everyone who's here and at home to clap your hands, snap your fingers, and sing Hallelujah, one of the beautiful songs that celebrates Shabbat and spirit of Shabbat.
Page 223, as we continue together, please join me as we say, praised are you, sovereign of wonders, crowned in adoration, delighted in song, eternal majesty.
Yitkada v'yitkada shmei Rabba, b'omadi b'rachirotei v'emlich malchutei, b'chayevonu v'yomechon, u'chayedecho bet Yisrael, bagala bagala, u'bizman karib yimeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, leholam u'lalem yalmaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitroma, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shmei kudesha, brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran me'alema, v'imeru, amen.
That moment's hesitation that you are having between singing and humming that I share with you, that desire is prayer, right there. That moment in which you are conflicted, that is your prayer. That is your prayer. So we harness that fine line between the hum and the spoken, the hum and the singing of the prayer. And we bring that together in this beautiful space, in your beautiful spaces at home, at this moment that is shared wherever we are for Shabbat. And we turn to the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, our call to prayer, and we invite you, please, in body or in spirit, to rise.
Baruch Hu Adonai mevorach, Baruch Adonai mevorach, le'olam va'ed.
Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir v'nischechu lanu mehera le'oro. May you shine a new light on Zion, and may we soon be privileged to share in that light. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamerot. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Our praise to you, Adonai. You have singled out your people Israel with love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Ed.
And please be seated as we continue together with the Ve'ahavta. And I wonder if a quiet singing behind our masks, actually, for some of the prayers that can be done quietly, would be in the same vein as humming. So I'll leave that to your discretion, spaced out as we are, because the words and the melody for each of us and for all of us strike differently, and we trust you to make your own right decisions, mindful that full-throated singing is what we're invited not to do at this time, much as we would like. Let us continue with the Ve'ahavta, which can be found on page 232.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha b'chol nafshecha b'chol yadecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך וחיו לטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי ויתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Page 239, as we continue together. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet, the pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flames stir the soul's passion. Guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out, we hum, and we rejoice. Let's join together with all of you at home as well. We'll invite you in body or in spirit, please, to rise as we turn to the tefillah, beginning on page 242.
That my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imateinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah El Haggadah Hagibor ve'Hanara El Elyon Gamel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Koneh HaKol Ve'Zocher Hasdei Avot ve'Imahot U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'Nehem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaya Kol Atah Raf Le'Hoshia Morit Chatal Mechakeh Hayim Bechesed Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Achar Mi Chamocha B'Geburot U'Mido Melech Melech Memit U'Mefayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'emanat Le'ayat HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Nekadesh et Shemcha ba'olam Kishem shemagdishim ota b'shmei marom K'katuv aliyot leviyecha V'kara zeh ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzevaot Melech haaretz kevodo Adir Adireinu Adonai Adoneinu Madir Shimcha b'haaretz Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo Echad hu Eloheinu U'Avinu Malkeinu U'Moshiachenu v'Hu Yashmi'enu B'Rachamav L'nei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohechem Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohai Tzion Ledor vador Hallelujah Ledor vador nagid God lecha Lenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish V'shivcha Eloheinu mipenu lo yamush Le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Oel HaKadosh.
And please be seated. Though it is quite lovely to be able to stand for prayer again, it's one of the first times I can remember in a long time saying Kadosh, 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 and actually being able to rise on my toe, not rock forward in my chair, and how different holiness feels in our bodies as things are opening up. We're so glad for your perseverance, for your patience, for your willingness to work through all the bumps and twists and turns with all of us, as we all must, as we celebrate Shabbat together. So come, let us sing Yismechu together. You will find that on the screen in front of you or on page 250 in your Sidurim.
Yismechu v'malechotecha, shomerei, shomerei, shomerei. וקורא עונג שבת והשביעי רצית בו וקידשת שבת חמדת ימים אתה קראת שבת אוי ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת אוי ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. I feel like Fiddler on the Roof.
We continue praying together. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shchinato l'tzion. Blessed are you whose divine presence is felt again in Zion. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. We continue now with our prayers, our songs, our hymns for peace.
Sim shalom tova ubracha hein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha barchinu yavinu kulanu kechat be'or panecha ki be'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu.
Sim shalom.
Sim shalom tova ubracha hein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha Torat chaim ve'achavat chesed u'tzedakah u'bracha ve'rachamim ve'chaim ve'shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom tova ubracha hein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha v'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Sim shalom.
Shalom tova ubracha hein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha.
It feels near impossible to try to stifle a sim shalom, doesn't it? It seems like something we ought not to do, sacrilege, dare I say. We pray for peace, we sing for peace, we hum for peace, we move for peace, we act for peace. And at this time when peace is elusive in the Middle East, we pray fervently for more peaceful times, calmer times, secure times, safe times, careful times, times with wisdom, as I share this bracha from Anat Hoffman, the executive director of the Israel Religious Action Center, called Eli, my God. In this sacred moment, give us hope for Israel and her future. Renew our wonder at the miracle of the Jewish state. In the name of the pioneers who made the deserts bloom, give us the tools to cultivate a diversity of Jewish expression in Israel. In the name of our fallen soldiers, give us courage to stand up to the words and ways of zealots, those in our own midst and those among our neighbors. In the name of Israeli inventors who have amazed the world with their innovations, help us apply the same ingenuity to finding a path to peace. In the name of all these individuals, grant us the strength to conquer doubt and despair in Israel, replacing doubt with action, replacing despair with hope, and let us all join together in saying, Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Amen.
We'll take a few moments, each of us, all of us, in silence, in meditation, in prayer. Let us turn to our prayers for healing, for wholeness, for strength, for courage, for patience, for kindness of care and support as we pray for those who are in need. We say, Mishaberach Avotenu, B'imotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, B'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, V'Leah, Hu Yivarech, Et HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and give strength to those who are struggling. This morning, in our prayers, Shana Esther bat Ruchel, Chaya Necha bat Riva Leah, Katriel Parachia ben Herschel Laser v'Shoshana, Sally Graf, Sarah bat Abraham v'Sarah, Alan Skirker, Laura Braun, Miriam bat Ella, Stephen Brent, Rini Feingold, Meredith Cabanis Ader, Reverend Gordon Webster, Irving Manis, Ralph Bookbinder, Masha Batsheva, Greg Novozenitz, Susan Silton Tobias, Kim Stanger Delisle, Gabriel Berger, George Okrent, Hank Ferrioli, Nancy Cohn, Lynn Fragan, Vicki Eckstein, Kennedy, and Yoav Shafrir. If there are others whom you would add to our list for healing, for wholeness, we'll ask first you in the sanctuary to please share any of those names aloud with us. Anybody in need of healing, of strength, of wholeness?
Even the president takes.
And we'll ask you at home, please, to unmute yourself for a moment or add to the chat those whom we should be including in our prayers as well.
Mike File.
Judale Shelley.
Vicki Brown, Patty Newman.
add to our prayers all those who have no one to say a prayer for them, all those in Israel at this time, all those supporting someone living in Israel and who are here as we say. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for where possible their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God send renewal of body and renewal of spirit, and let us all join together in saying, Amen. We turn now to our Seder Kriyat Torah, our service for the reading of Torah. We've missed this moment. We haven't missed, thankfully, hearing words of Torah. We have this incredible group of you in so many places who have committed to learning with the cantor and who come already schooled in how to chant Torah. So we have not missed hearing words of Torah and learning words of Torah and considering words of Torah, but we've missed seeing the Torah and holding the Torah. And this morning we have that opportunity, careful as it will be, as we turn to our Seder Kriyat Torah. We are appropriately starting the book of Bamidbar in Numbers. In the desert is where we certainly feel like we have been and are emerging, but so much good came out of the desert. Bamidbar, yes, you look, that's what we're reading, right? Yes, okay, our Torah readers looked a little concerned, so I thought, I hope I'm giving you the right passage. So we'll turn in just a few moments to the passage from Bamidbar in your Chumashim, in your Pentateuchs in front of you. That begins on page 899. That is where you'll find the beginning of the Parsha. But we will start this morning as we do with the singing of Ein Kamocha, and invite you please in body or in spirit to rise. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein kamasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai
have an honor to recite the Torah blessings, including people on the Zoom. So
Please be
we
seated.
all will
Please be seated.
recite the brachot. We may be seated.
Yep. So you will find, if you are looking for the bracha, you will find the bracha on page 368 in your Sidurim. And again, page 899 in your Chumashim for the beginning of Parshat Bamidbar.
And Baruch Adonai Havorach, Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Yidaber Adonai El Moshe B'midbar Sinai B'ohel Moed Be'echad L'chodesh Hasheni B'shana Hasheni L'tzetam Me'eretz Mitzrayim Le'mor Su'u et Rosh Kol Adat B'nei Yisrael L'mishpachotam L'beit Avotam Mispar Shemot Kol Zachar L'gulgalotam Mi ben Esrim Shana V'mala Kol Yotzei Tzava B'Yisrael Tifkedu Otam L'tzivotam Atavia Haron. Oh, then you hold that one. It's a lefty versus a righty.
V'ikem yehiyu ish lamata ish rosh lavit avotav hu ve'ela shemot ha'anashim asher yimamdu itchem l'Reuven Elitzor ben Shaddai or l'Shimon Shulamiel ben Zori Shaddai, Lehuda Nachshon ben Amidanda, Le-Yisaskar Nitael ben Zor.
Beautiful. And together the bracha after Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'doheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Chazak, chazak. Be strong, and be strengthened. Beautiful. Beautiful to hear words of Torah from our Torah.
Thank you. So we'll continue with our Torah discussion, and I hope you can hear me at home when I speak, because I know you can hear me when I sing. And everybody can hear me? Okay. Well, Yashar Koach, beautiful chanting. I will share the screen with our Torah portion. And I also have handout for people who are here. this is the first time we're doing this kind of study on people on Zoom and on people in the sanctuary. So we'll see how it goes. So the Torah portion is Bamidbar. So everybody see the text, right? People on Zoom, can you see the text? Yes? Okay. Can somebody on Zoom volunteer or in the audience, in the congregation, to read out loud the summary of the Bamidbar, of the numbers 1 through 1, the summary of a Torah portion. Anybody volunteer to read? It's in English. Thanks. Thank you. So just notice a difference between translation in Hebrew and English. Bamidbar is the name of the book, which means desert. But in English, the book called Numbers. So we're going to explore these names. And before we do that, there are two themes in this Torah portion. The meaning of Midbar, like the desert in Jewish tradition, what it means, and the second theme is the significance of counting the Israelites. So I decided to look at the first theme, and of course the train is here. So I found this writing by David Roberts. He was a famous Scottish writer. He wasn't Jewish, but he traveled through the Middle East, and he traveled through the same place, desert, where the Mount Sinai, where the Torah was given. So he was traveled to the same place, and this is what he wrote in his diary. Can somebody read this? Either on Zoom or here? Anybody? Okay, Marsha, thank you.
David Roberts, famous Scottish writer, had journeyed throughout the Middle East. Here is what he wrote in his diary on his climb toward Mount Sinai. Although I had crossed the most rugged passes of the Alps and made from Chamonix, Africa, and Indian Ocean, a whole circuit of months long, I never found a path so rude and difficult as that which we are now ascending. I have never seen a spot more wild and desolate.
Thank you. So just imagine, there's imagine a movie, right? Let's all imagine a movie. The Israelites in the desert, right? This hostile desert with dunes, the mountains, right? No water. So why is it so important? Why the desert is so important? And if you look down, the questions that I put down for our discussion, right, here's the question we will address. Why did the Israelites stay so long? For 38 years. For 38 years, they stayed in this desert, in this hostile
place. So, and then B, why after bitter years of Egyptian oppression did Moses not lead them directly to the land of Israel, right? Moses just could go to Israel right away, bring them all in the beautiful land and done, right? No, for 38 years, almost 40 years in the desert. So why is the Torah given to the people of Israel in such hostile environment rather than in the beautiful promised land, right? Flowing with milk and honey. So why? All those questions, so think about it. And the last one is, why does Torah devote the entire book of Bamidbar, which desert, and much of Deuteronomy, right, the next book, to the Israelites' struggle for survival in such inhospitable place? So all those questions, we don't have to address them right away. So break it up. Let's just think about it. You know, for those people who are in the sanctuary, you have a handout, so try not to read ahead, right? So people who are on Zoom are more, you could see the screen. So here's the questions, right? Why did Israelites stay for 38 years in the desert? Why did we just go right to the beautiful land? You know, why those 38 years in the desert? Why was it so important to be in the desert? So this is the interactive part. So where you can comment, Alan.
Wasn't 38 or 40 years or so basically a generation at that time, the life after lifespan?
Yeah, so. Yes, very good. I don't know if people on Zoom can hear. You can. So Alan Wertheimer is here, and he says that 38 years has to do with the whole the generation that, you know, at that time considered to be a generation. That's a very good answer. Also, it was strategic, very strategic, right? Because God wants us to multiply, right? And grow in numbers in order to enter into the new land, into milk and honey, right? So we can fight our enemies, right? Philistines. So the strategic reason, number one, and which is generation, which is connected, right, to multiply. Mari? Loyal? I couldn't hear. Loyal to God. Okay. No, that's good. So we have Mari, who is going to college next year. She's here with her mom, and she's saying that loyalty to God. Exactly. So God, all God's plan to keep us in a desert for 38 years. So we developed this religious experience, right? Because what was before, right? We were slaves. We all had slave mentality. So when we came out, we didn't know, the Israelites didn't know what to do with themselves, right? They had to learn everything about themselves, how to make free choices, and learn everything about religion, right? And also free will, how to make decisions for themselves, for the family, for the children, for everything, like day-to life, every day. And also survival, right? Imagine you're in the desert for 38 years. What's in a desert? Not much, and Leonard said, not much, right? There is an expression in English, no one's man, right? No one's man, is that expression? No man's land, exactly, right. So, thank you. So what are the reasons that God decided to place Israelites in the desert for 38 years? So we say strategic, they have to learn about religion, they have to make, you know, like free choices for themselves, they have to learn about themselves, they have to mature out of slavery, right, out of all the idolatry, they have to mature into being free people. So what else? Judy? Judy Wertheimer.
I think if they were in a hospital place for such a very, very long
Okay, that's good. So let me rephrase it. I will try. Judy Burheimer said that people were in the desert for 38 years, and all the struggle that they, all the challenges that they encountered made them stronger and wanted to receive the Torah, right? And wanted to be like one generation or one nation. Is right? Okay, like one nation. Yes, very good, excellent. And
perhaps as well, having been slaves and given the food that they, were able to eat, and so having lived an existence where everything was quite controlled, they also needed to learn how to survive. So how do you, plant and
right, exactly.
create a life for yourself or for themselves as people where they could maintain and sustain themselves.
Yeah, very good, excellent. That's what great rabbis say, the same what you just said. So Leonard just pointed out that people were challenged by how to live day by day, how to provide food for themselves, how to feed their children, and they had to struggle with that. They had to make decisions. They have to be creative. They have to survive, right? They had to survive in the desert. And then, so the other question is why is Torah given on Mount Sinai, on this, this dangerous place, and with dunes and sand blowing? Why it was not given in the Promised Land? Why wasn't, 38 years, done, then you enter the land, and you're given the Torah. Why wasn't it given in the land? Why wasn't it given on Mount Sinai, in the hostile desert? Why? What's the reason? So people online, I don't know, want to say something? You can unmute yourself. So the question is why the Torah was given in the desert, like on Mount Sinai. So I'm going to scroll down, and those people who are sitting here in the congregation, can somebody online read it, why in the wilderness? Or somebody in congregation can read, why in the wilderness? It could answer some of our questions. Anybody would like to read? You see this paragraph, that a little bit, in the middle? Renee, thank you, Renee.
Sure. Why in the wilderness? Philosopher Philo explains that the Torah was given in the wilderness because cities are filled with corruption, luxury, idolatry, and other evils. He also argues that for one to be pure and ready to receive the Torah, one must be separated from all the vices of the city. Torah was given in the desert to teach that we must consider ourselves open like the midbar in order to learn Torah. Just as the desert contains nothing but layers of sand, so too the human body is composed of nothing but dust. But just as the desert was transformed into a holy place by the appearance, can you scroll down a little?
Okay, hold on, I'm scrolling down, okay.
Of the divine presence, so too with human beings. They become a source of greatness if they allow their spiritual spark to dominate their actions.
Okay,
Is there more?
Thank you. Thank you so much. So anybody wants to make conclusion out of it? The first sentence, what does it say? The first sentence, that Israelites were not influenced by anybody, right? In the desert. Desert is so open, right? It's open to everyone. There are no family, there is no other nations to influence the Israelites. So we as a nation can make our own decisions. The desert is so open, right? There is like a metaphor. The desert is so open, like our mind should be open before we receive the Torah. Right? As soon as we enter the land, there is this, there is that, there are all these
different things that could influence us. The reason we receive the Torah in the desert, to be open-minded, right? That we are open as a desert, right? And we are pure as a desert because nothing can influence our minds in order to receive the Torah, which is this Sunday, right? We're going to celebrate Shabbat, and we're going to be receiving Torah, and that's how appropriate. I have a few things more, but I think we are out of time. Just the very last thing, I like that. If people are not free as a desert, then they are not worthy to receive the Torah, okay? So it's metaphorical, right? Free of, different prejudice, free meaning like free in your spirit, free in your brain, you're open. And everybody who receives the Torah can make the Torah applicable to themselves, okay? Applicable to themselves, they can interpret Torah the way they would like for themselves, because no one can influence us. So this is something to inspire you before Shavuot. And well, we should say Sheheyanu just for that we studied together, and it worked, I think. And people participated on both sides. And I'm just, in Yiddish, it's Amachaya, right? That we are back together. And so in June, hopefully there will be more of us in the sanctuary. And so thank you for participation, both on Zoom and in the sanctuary, in a beautiful space.
We couldn't, we couldn't, right, with the exception of creation, I don't think we could have asked to start a better book today, right? The beginning of the beginning, because we're not in the beginning, right? We're continuing on. And it's such a good, literal look at the portion, but also a metaphoric look at the Parsha, for us to imagine ourselves at this next stage in our development, right? And that's where we are, and how clarifying time in wide open spaces was for our ancestors, and I suspect how clarifying it has been for us in our smaller, more confined spaces, actually. Those places that we have not chosen to be, neither were our ancestors, but what we are able to discern during those times and this time, and good for us to learn. We will continue as we replace the Torah to its resting place in the Ark, page 374 in your Sidurim, as we turn to Eitz Chaim, and we'll invite you please to rise.
Ki lekachtom natati lahem dorati ad azavu et chaimi lamazikim ba vetomechecha meushar darhinam bechol netivotecha shalom shalom hashivin Adonai elecha v'noshuva hadesh yameinu kekedem.
We'll continue now with our concluding prayers, the Aleinu, as we turn to page 586.
Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol, later gdula liyotzer breshit, shelo sanagi haratzot, velo samarag mishpat hadama, shelo sam hakinu gahem, v'gor alinu gyal hamanam, banat mukarim, umishtahavim umadim, לפני מלך
For this Shabbat, our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died in this season and the years past. Our hearts open as well to the widest circles of loss in our community, and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichrona livracha, may the memory be a blessing. And this Shabbat, we mourn people who died recently: Patrick Daughtery, Father Bridget Daughtery Herman, Jean August, original temple founder, Stan Till, a beloved father of Rabbi Till, William Fawcett Jr., son of Rose Fawcett, Constance Nussbaum Mayer, mother of Michael Mayer. And this morning, we also observe yortzites of people who will be lost in the past. Francis Abrams, Betty Brown, Phyllis Cohen, Philip Citrin, Angelo Di Matteo, Frank Donsky, Stephen Drexler, Sanford Elwitt, Bessie Fenster, Rose Goldenshire, Maria Gozzi, Jerry Greenfield, Lawrence Greer, Elaine Hoffman, Harry Hurwitz, Ethel Katz, Lillian Kleinberg, Samuel Leonard, Abraham Leaf, Selma Marcus, Anthony Manning, Saul Morris, Jamie Nussbaum, Bruce Rosen, Catherine Schwartz, Bessie Schneider, Maurice Sporn, Marion Stern, Evelyn Stoller, Marsha Weiner. If I would like everybody who is present with us say the name of your beloved for your yortzeit observance, first in the sanctuary and then on Zoom. People on Zoom, you can please unmute. We want to hear your voices and say the name of your beloved. We continue with Kaddish Yatom on page 598, 598. It's 598 as we join together. Yid kadal shmei rabba, tolma divrach hiruteh, ve'amliv mahuteh, v'chayehon u'yomehon u'v'chayeh d'chol bet Israel, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitamal
Shmei D'Kudusha Brichu.
Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushpechata v'nehemata, damiran ve'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru
Amen. Oseh shalom
b'mamav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the source of peace bestow peace to all who mourn, and may we be source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together,
Amen.
Amen. And please be seated.
For those in the sanctuary, we know that this is a time of joy to be in the sanctuary together, but in all likelihood, also a time of memory, as you are here for Kaddish, to say Kaddish. And as my colleague and friend and Rabbi Katz has said before, we are able to hold both of those at the same time, and we hold them in fragile and loving hands this sacred Shabbat morning. A few announcements to share with you. Tomorrow we have religious school at 9:30 beginning, Torah Chanting Club. Come one, come all on Zoom if you want to do what the Birkins just did so beautifully. We thank you. Each and every word of Torah is a gift to us. And to all of you who at home are also, I see your beautiful faces on my screen now who have read Torah as well. We encourage you. We encourage you, please, to study with the cantor. That is tomorrow morning, continuing at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, a shift just for tomorrow. As the cantor said, tomorrow evening we have Erev Shavuot services and confirmation, a beautiful, beautiful service. We have, Mari, you've been there before, but we have spectacular 10th graders coming up behind you who are about to be confirmed, and that service starts at 6 p.m. And then Monday morning we continue our celebration of Shavuot at 10:30 a.m. and Yizkor memorial prayers again. At 7 p.m. for those of you who have or know teens, there is a meeting to gather some more information about what would help for teens on Monday evening. On Wednesday at noon, we have our final lunch and learn class on Maimonides. That's a makeup from a couple of weeks ago. And the Women's Chavurah, that's at noon on Wednesday. And the Women's Chavurah has a program at 7 p.m., sure to be wonderful, on healthy living for your brain and body. Who couldn't use that? And then next week, we start Shabbat services all over again, increasing our time and space in the sanctuary for others to be joining us as well. And last, please to note that Rabbi Josh Garraway will be speaking on May 23rd. If you didn't have a chance to learn with him a couple weeks ago, he's wonderful. And aside from being homegrown, which I understand is a point of pride for so many of you, he's a scholar. He's a scholar, and he's a rabbi, and he's a mensch. He's a professor at HUC. So please mark May 23rd at 7 p.m. to hear Josh Garraway. And finally, some mazel tovs. Mazel tov to Melissa and Scott Martin on the birth of their son. And also to their grandparents who are our members, Debbie and Lee Mandel. And please let us know if there are any announcements that we should know, any celebrations, any joys, anything that we should know about from you, either at home or here in the sanctuary. Okay. Then we will conclude with Kiddush and Motzi. If it is your custom to stand for Kiddush, please do so in body or in spirit. And then we'll turn to Motzi.
So we rise a Kiddush cup, and we join together. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. If I'm allowed to please. Maybe not. And we'll say the bracha for our beautiful challah. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And please be seated. Please be seated. And we'll continue with our concluding song, Ani ve'ata, you and I together can change the world. How fitting. How perfect a way to finish Shabbat. Please join us at home, join us in the sanctuary as we say and sing. You and I will change the world. You and I, then all will join us.
Ani ve'ata neshanet ha'olam. Ani ve'ata z'yavo u'kvar kolam. Amru et ze kodem lefanai de'lo meshaneh. Ani ve'ata neshaneh et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata nenaseh mehatchala. Yeh lanu ra'in davar ze lo nora. Amru et ze kodem